Mike Palmateer, born in Toronto in 1954, the eldest of six, began playing ice hockey at 6 years of age. In his first year, he played in both an outdoor league and an indoor league at St. Mike's College Arena. He scored only 1 goal in each league his first year. However, his tally jumped to 90 goals the next season, and both his teams won their respective league championships. Mike had figured out how to skate, and there was no holding him back. Mike was 9 years old and playing in the Toronto Hockey League when his coach brought out a set of goalie pads and asked who wanted to give it a try. The rest, as they say, is history. Mike was the goaltender for Toronto Marlboros from Pee Wee through Junior A, when, in the 1972-73 season, the Marlies won the Memorial Cup Championship. In Mike's midget season, a serious knee injury and a subsequent surgery caused him to miss a year of hockey. In order to compensate for the damage to his knee, Mike developed his unique and acrobatic goaltending style. His speed and agility, together with his competitive nature, confidence, and fierce drive to win, took him a long way. He wore very little padding to preserve his mobility and was able to anticipate scoring attempts as well as dictate what moves the shooters made. Mike began his professional career playing in the International Hockey League for the Saginaw Gears, and then advanced to the CHL Oklahoma City Blazers, the farm club for the NHL Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs were not doing well at the time, and their general manager, Jim Gregory, made the call to Palmateer and told him he'd be starting for the Leafs in Detroit. In true Palmateer style, his now famous reply was, "Mr. Gregory, your goaltending troubles are over." In his rookie year in 1976-77, Mike posted a 26-21-8 record, including playoffs, with the Leafs. Palmy quickly became a fan favorite in his second campaign, posting 34 wins with 5 shutouts, and was a key figure in the Leafs' playoff drive to the semifinals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. In 1979, the Toronto Maple Leafs named Palmateer the recipient of the seldom awarded J.P. Bickle Memorial Trophy for outstanding performance and standard of excellence.
Well, I think fans immediately pick up on people who have passion for the game, who go over and above their natural ability to make a play, whether it's a play with the puck or make a save. And Mike would go from one post to another post, back to the other post again to make saves, and would usually make them. So he immediately became the spirit and a driving force for those late 70 teams of the Maple Leafs, who were excellent teams. They were really good teams. And I think Mike was one of the catalysts as to why they were so good.
In 1980, Mike was traded to the Washington Capitals. In 1982, he returned to the Maple Leafs for 2 more seasons before he was forced to hang up his skates due to his recurring knee injuries and 14 surgeries.
He was a hometown boy who played for the Maple Leafs in the late 70s. And the Roger Nielsen coached teams with the likes of Darryl Sittler, Lanny McDonald, Tiger Williams, Boreas Salming, Ian Turnbull. Maybe the guy that stirred the drink was Mike Palmateer. He was a feisty, competitive, compassionate guy. He played with spirit. He was a battler. He was a guy, if you went near his crease, he'd be whacking and hacking you. So he was a real competitive, outstanding player for the Maple Leafs during those eras. Mike Palmateer was a real outstanding goaltender. And for a guy his size, I know why he's had 10, 12, 15 knee operations, because of the way he played with such spirit.
Palmateer, one of the most popular Leaf netminders in their history, recorded 149 wins and 17 shutouts over his career. He was named number 58 in the Toronto Maple Leafs all-time top 100 players in their 100th anniversary season. After retiring in 1985, Mike and his family moved to Aurora, and he opened Palmateer's, a popular Yonge Street restaurant and bar. before embarking on a real estate career. In 1997, Brad Selwood, a former Leafs defenseman, coach, and GM of the Junior A Aurora Tigers, asked Mike if he'd help out with coaching the team.
He made a really great connection with the goalie that he was working with at the time, and when he went away to school, that goalie was still calling my dad for advice and things like that. So it was really great to see him make such an impact on these young kids' lives, because he lived something that a lot of the kids want to do as well. So
Mike's wife Lee, seeing that his passion for hockey was still alive and well, encouraged him to get back into it. As a result, Palmy used his keen insight into the game as a scout with both NHL Central Scouting and his beloved Maple Leafs for over 16 years.
he had such a reputation for being so cocky and being really aggressive on the ice and really going at it, but he was one of those players who you'd hate to play against, but you'd love to have on your team. And somebody who would always give it their all no matter what, still loved the game, loves life, and I would just want everybody to know what a great person he is and what a great role model he was for my sister and I. On behalf of our family, I want to say congratulations on to being inducted into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Just so proud, you really deserve it.
Congratulations, it's well deserved. You are a great Maple Leaf.
And now, we are proud to welcome athlete Mike Palmateer into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame.
If I could invite presenting sponsor Remax Pozzanello Realty, Frank Pozzanello, to the stage, and soon-to-be Hall of Famer Mike Palmateer to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Wow. Very moving. I'm already in tears watching my daughter. Thank you and good evening to everyone. I want to thank the nominators, the selection committee, and the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame for this honor. Special thank you too to all the volunteers that helped out to make this event such a success. I'd also like to thank my sponsor, Frank Pozzanello, who's a longtime Aurora resident, businessman, and friend. And I'd like to congratulate my other fellow inductees this year, Dan and Bob and the Fleury family. Growing up in sports played a huge role in my life. There were 6 kids in my family. I was the oldest. And I'm not sure how my parents did it, but we all played sports at a high level. So if you can imagine 6 kids all cramming into a station wagon, going to various events, arguing half the time there, never wearing seat belts. That was amazing. My brothers Steve and Jeff, and my sisters, Judy, Debbie, and Linda. They're a bit nutty, but I see there's some young kids here tonight, and I'd like to remind them to never lose sight of their dreams. When I was young like you and lacking size and People said I didn't have that size to make it in hockey. I also had some bad knee injuries, what we just saw, that made my pro career a long shot. But I worked hard, I battled, and I never lost confidence in myself. And then in June 1994, I got a call from Johnny Bauer telling me that I was just drafted by my hometown Maple Leafs. And I remember saying to my dad, "This is great. They only have Doug Favela and Dunk Wilson. I'll be the #1 goalie next year." Well, it didn't quite work out that way. I didn't even get to practice with the big team that next season. Thanks, Jim. But I was sent to the #2 farm team, Saginaw Gears of the IHL. A couple of months later, I was called up to the #1 farm team in Oklahoma City. And I gotta tell you, I was so excited for my first game on the road against a good Seattle team. I went out on the ice for warm-up and realized I forgot my jock. Seriously. So I scrambled back into the dressing room, took all my equipment off, put my jock on, got back out, and as I got out, all my new teammates were just coming off the ice, so I never got my warm-up. So anyway, 20 minutes later, into my first game, the first shot on me scored. A couple of seconds later, the second shot on me scored. A minute after that, there was a loose puck and a breakaway coming at me, and I was determined this guy wasn't going to score on me. So I decided to race him to the puck. As I approached the blue line, he won the race. But I stacked my pads and I took him out hard. Unfortunately, I also took my defenseman, Ronnie Clark, and our team captain out as well. So, here we are about 3 minutes into my first game with new teammates. I'm down 2-0, and I just broke my captain's leg. How does my teammates like me so? So what I was getting at to young folks is that it would have been an easy time for me to give up and quit. But I puckered down and I gave it my all. We won that game 3-2. Which is really good. And about midnight that night, when we were at the bar afterwards celebrating, my captain, Ronnie, came in with a cast on his leg and bought me a beer. That was when I knew I had a great bunch of teammates and I had made it, at least to that level. So it took me another year in the minors before I got a call from Maple Leafs GM Jim McGregory. He told me to jump on a plane the next morning because I was going to get my first NHL start in Detroit. I won that game 3-1, and I managed to hang in there for another 8 years. Okay, anyway, as I said, I got called up and I won that game 3-1, and I managed to play in the total 10 years pro, which was pretty good because when you drafted me, Jim, all the doctors said I wouldn't last a year with my knees. I managed to play those 10 years and go through 14 knee operations before I had to shut it down. But then it was time to move on to the next chapter of my life with my wife, Lee. And we knew Aurora was where we wanted to settle down with our family, or to start a family, I should say. And coincidentally, our first home in Aurora was on Fleury Street. So now we have two beautiful daughters, Courtney, who is here with us tonight. You saw her on the screen, making me cry. And my baby Tess, who's still down in the University of Texas, trying to get her sports psychology degree. 8 years now, she's in the university. It's all good. And I tell you what, I knew she was going to be this smart, I would have had her 10 years earlier. Anyway, my wife and I, we love love the small town feel and the sense of community that was here in Aurora. And one of the things we discovered was the abundance of quality sports programming available to our kids. And my girls did it all, you know, from the Diggers to the Ducks, and from the Stingers to the Storm. In fact, they both went on to become varsity athletes at their respective universities. Sports played a huge role, I think, in shaping my daughters and becoming the young woman that they are, and I'm so proud of them. I deeply value all the memories and experience I had in Aurora over these 30 years. And I feel privileged to have had the opportunity to raise my family in such a remarkable place. And sorry, Mom. Mask on. That's the situation that I am in front of the crowd and thinking about my family. I gotta thank my wife. 34 years. She located so many times without complaint, supported and encouraged me, and gave me a push even back into hockey when I needed it. When people ask her what it's like to be married to me, her answer is, it's never been boring. I'd like to thank you all again for this honor, and to all of you here for sharing this memorable evening.